You think you have time. You do not think it in words. You think it in the way you push things to later, in the calls you will make next month, in the person you will finally become once things settle down. And here is the part nobody warns you about, because it feels like patience. Waiting feels responsible. It feels mature. It feels like the opposite of a mistake. But the man you keep planning to be is quietly starving while you wait, and the day you notice the pattern is almost always too late to undo it. Watch what you actually do. You get a piece of good news or bad news, and within an hour you are back inside the same loop. Emails, dishes, the scroll. Something real happens, and the day closes over it like water over a dropped stone. You tell yourself you will sit with it later. You never sit with it. The moment passes, and you go back to moving through your life as if the supply of days were endless. That is the first thing running underneath you. You do not feel time passing. You feel Tuesday. You feel the commute. You feel tired. The clock in your body only measures the next few hours, never the shape of the whole thing. So you spend a decade the way you would spend an afternoon, casually, certain there is more where that came from. And because you cannot feel the total draining, you do the thing that costs the most. You postpone your own life. The conversation with your father, saved for a calmer year. The work that actually matters, waiting behind the work that is merely urgent. The version of you who is braver, kinder, more awake, always scheduled for after the promotion, after the kids are older, after you rest. You are not lazy. You are just sure the door stays open. Then something forces the math. A form asks your age, and the number surprises you. A scan comes back with a shadow on it. Your mother stands up from a chair, slower than she did last year, and you see for one clean second that she is not permanent, and neither are you. For that second, everything reorders. The petty thing you are angry about dissolves. You know exactly what matters. You feel time as a real substance, and it is running. Here is what most people get wrong. They think that clear second is the cure. See death honestly, they say, and you will finally live. But watch what happens 3 days after the scan comes back clean, after the funeral, after the scare. You go back to sleep, not because you are weak, because staying awake to your own ending is unbearable to carry through an ordinary week, and your mind is built to protect you from it. The urgency does not fade because you stopped caring. It fades because the mind quietly closes the wound so you can function. That is the second force, and it is stronger than the first. Seeing time clearly is not the same as living awake. Clarity is a moment. Denial is a system. So the pattern is not that you never wake up. It is that you wake up and forget, and wake up and forget. And each time you go back to sleep, you build something. You build a person whose default setting is postponement, a man who has felt the truth a dozen times and metabolized it into nothing each time. The tragedy is not that you never saw it. It is that you saw it repeatedly and let it heal over. And this is where the real cost sits, the one you privately suspect and refuse to hold. It is not that you will die. Everyone accepts that, in theory. It is that you will arrive at the end, having deferred the actual living to a later that never came. You will have the regret of the specific man who knew better, who felt the reminder in his chest and reached for his phone instead. The unlived years do not announce themselves. They accumulate silently, one postponed Tuesday at a time, until there are no more Tuesdays to postpone. And you cannot borrow this awareness from me. Nobody can hand you urgency that lasts. Meaning is not something waiting to be found in the right week. It is the response you choose inside the conditions you were given, and it decays the instant you stop choosing it. That is why the man who confronts his ending honestly can build something real, not because fear motivates him, but because he stops lying about how much is left. Living like you have forever does not feel like a cost. It feels like calm. That is the trap. The bill is not paid at the end in one dramatic sum. It is paid now in small silences, in the good news you let close over, in the father you will call next month. Picture the phone in your hand, his name on the screen, your thumb hovering, the thought already forming, later. That is the entire cost, right there, in the pause before you put it down.